Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and I'm happy to announce that I've finally come to a realization that there's really no point in going above tier 4 in World of Tanks, and that the Panzer B2 740, the tier 4 German premium heavy tank, has to be the greatest vehicle in the game. I mean, why would you go above tier 4? All of the, new players are down at low tier. They don't really fight back. They don't really do too much. Sometimes we even end up against bots, which are, I guess, boosting up accounts to be able to sell them with some mid-tier tanks or some high-tier tanks, for all I know. Or maybe people are just inherently lazy and they want bots to be able to grind their account while they're at work. By the way, no jokes. Do not use bots inside World of Tanks. If Wargaming do detect it, then they will be banning your account for eternity. And also, you're going to end up with some pretty darn horrific stats. Stats is another reason why a lot of people shouldn't really just go above tier 4. Why would you? You could just play yourself a Panzer B2 740 and you have super preferential matchmaking, meaning that you never have to meet tier 5 tanks. So why go above tier 4? You've already reached the pinnacle of the game. Super preferential matchmaking. Basically, -1 plus 0 matchmaking with a vehicle that has as much damage per minute as like a 122 TM, for example. 1436 DPM. You can absolutely rip your opponents apart, and the benefit is that they don't really have any armor. So you can make the armor piercing rounds work on this vehicle, or you can just load gold. The gold rounds are cheaper as well, only 800 credits a shot, although they're not really doing too much. And with 90mm of pen, it works out. And this is peak World of Tanks gameplay right here. One premium tank on the enemy team, a tier 3 German premium vehicle, firing gold at a tier 4 German premium tank, but because I have super preferential matchmaking and my gold has higher pen, I'm able to go through him and he's not able to go through me. What we're shooting at here is the Panzer S35, and to put into perspective how crazy good this is, let's take a look at the platoon on the enemy team. There is 2 players playing in Panzer B2 740s, just like I am. Now, when those 2 players play tier 10, and across hundreds if not thousands of games on their account, they average 45% win ratio overall, or 46% win ratio overall. However, when their powers combine, and they go down from tier 10 to tier 4, or in their low tier premium German heavy tanks, they're actually managing to achieve 65% win ratio together. So they can go and play tier 10 all day long, well, and then as long as they just play their Panzer B2 740s the next day, then their win ratios are going to average out probably at the mid-50s. So why wouldn't they just cut out the tier 10 gameplay altogether and just focus on playing their tier 4 tanks? We can see that they've managed to absolutely obliterate my team so far, and they're just waltzing through. And until they met me, an equal player firing an equal amount of gold, but I've been here doing this before. I'm the SEAL Club of Police when it comes down to this. That Panzer B2 740 hadn't even taken any damage. So it doesn't really look like that player knows how to deal with their own tank. I'm going to finish off one vehicle, focus on the BT5, but I've got to keep my focus on the Panzer B2 740. And his friend is trying to flank me and focus me out. So I'm going to come around the corner, focus his weak point, which is actually this hatch. Looks like he's just auto-aiming at my tank. I'm dodging. He's not aiming very well at all. No wonder that they're only able to win 45% of their games at tier 10, but 65% of their games at tier 4. And we shut them down hard. Now, I had to pay for it, but having dealt with that vehicle, the other full health German tier 4 premium tank is making their way around the corner altogether. And they're not even trying to angle their armor. They're firing as much gold at me as I'm firing at them. And I'm just trying to make sure I'm keeping my tank angled at 45 degrees or so, which is the most efficient way to do this. And now just putting some pressure on them. And wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. We're up to 2,000 damage in the first 4 minutes of this battle. Make that 2,200 damage up to 4 kills. Now, this definitely wasn't the most economical way to play World of Tanks, but when it comes down to just wanting to push your win ratio up as far as possible, well, why would you really play anything else? So now we've got a T-34, the 1941 edition, which is a tier 4 Soviet medium tank, and unfortunately I am starting to run low on gold, so I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to finish them off here with my 5 remaining gold shells in the tank. Luckily I've managed to damage their engine. I'm hoping for a fire at the back of the vehicle. It doesn't seem to be working out for me, and with the final gold shell, we find out that we didn't really need to be firing the gold anyway. Well, at least we did, because we could see that the regular shells had an orange reticle. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, why would you ever leave peak World of Tanks? Why would you ever go above tier 4? As clearly the players on the enemy team are able to club together to be able to win 2/3 of their games, or like 50% more than they would win if they were playing their tier 10 tanks. I just don't know. You should probably sell all of your high tier vehicles and just go and purchase 1 OP or 2 OP low tier premium tanks, and at least then you'll manage to find some players that you're going to be able to deal with, right? Yeah. I don't know how much more of this charade I could continue. Happy April Fools, boys and girls. I bet you didn't expect me to be playing a tier 4 tank today, especially one that is this darn filthy. This was 1,871 base experience in a tier 4 vehicle with 2,753 damage and vanquishing 1/3 of the enemy team. And it looks like I just managed to club these seal clubbers just in the nick of the time as they were managing to waltz their way through my team. So what did we find out about tier 4? Like, unsarcastically here. We found out that every time Wargaming sell a vehicle like this, the B2740, they basically make the game worse. They're just giving a ticket to players who... These two players on the enemy team have played 40,000 games of World of Tanks between them, to drop down to a tier that they should have really grown up from, and basically just farm new players and ruin their day, and give those new players a really poor taste of what World of Tanks is. Nevertheless, I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't occasionally be able to dust off your premium low tier tanks and blow off a little bit of steam if that's what you want. But ladies and gents, it's a slippery slope. And when you start to have found yourself playing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games in little OP tanks like this, and for some reason you still haven't got bored, then yeah, think about the seals. And while sure, I was playing the Panzer B2740 today, I mean, I've played 26 games in this tank in about 10 years of owning it. So I really hope you'll forgive me. But considering it's April Fool's, maybe you won't. A final mention also should be to the fact that really disappointing that Wargaming didn't do any April Fool's events this year. But maybe there are some pressing things going on in the world that they have more to worry about. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was a really silly video for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments whether I had you a little bit fooled before the realization of what day it is today. Look, don't play low tiers more than you feel that you should. Have a great Friday, enjoy your weekend, and I am off right now to be able to go and play some games with my good buddy Ike. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.